Oh, hello everyone. So this is Emma from Footprints in the Clouds, and so today I'm gonna bring you the first video of my Asian video series. This vlog will be about South Asia. So in South Asia, I've been only to two countries. I've been to India and I've been to Sri Lanka, where I spent quite some time in both of them. I spent over 2 months in India and almost a month in Sri Lanka. So I'll be telling a little bit about my perception of the countries, and and hopefully can give you all the information that you guys have been asking me for. So starting with visa strategy. Once again, I just can speak for myself. I'm European, and I have to say that actually to get a visa for India was quite a bit of a. It wasn't easy. It was extremely expensive. But bear in mind, I had to get a visa for 6 months because I knew I would spend at least 2 months in country. So, um, but it was a bit expensive, and it took a while. Um, for Sri Lanka, it was visa on arrival, and I believe it was just $25, so not too bad. um, Now let's talk about safety. Um, Now India, I don't know if you recall, but India is actually the only country I did a tour. The 2 months that I was in India, I spent on a tour. I did spend like a week or two by myself at the end, but most of the country I did on a tour, and I wouldn't recommend anything different. Okay, especially as a woman, as a solo traveler, I don't think that India is a place that you should go by yourself. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend. It's just women have a bit of a different status there, and yeah, I don't think it's safe at all. As for Sri Lanka I was by myself. I did the country, with any difficulties. It was very easy, and yeah, I don't think is an issue at all. Um, Being solo, gruppo, or I think there are countries, both of them, that family friendly, so you can visit with your family. You can visit with your friends. It's just the fact that I wouldn't do India by myself, at least not as a woman. Um, about itineraries and trails, both India is an extremely big country, not continent. Um, I personally end up doing I circle India. It was really nice because um, the east and the west and the north and the south are completely different. So if you want to have um, a good idea of India, you should go at least to a few parts in India, because most people just go to Agra, just go to see the Taj. But I believe if you can try to explore, the south is completely different from the north, the Rajasthan area. The east is completely different. So it's beautiful. It's a beautiful country. There's a lot of itineraries. There's a lot of different trails people do. I would say the musts in India would be Varanasi. Would be um, I mean, I like parts like Goa and Hampi and Kochi and Kerala in the south, but I really like the Rajasthan area in the north. I really like the Rajasthan, but I've been to little towns like Korsha or Chanderi, which were like small towns. They're usually out of the beaten track, and I appreciate those kind of areas of India where, yeah. As for Mumbai or Delhi, I'm not saying that you shouldn't go, but I definitely try to go to somewhere less busy. Let's put it that way. As for Sri Lanka, I've been to a few places in Sri Lanka. Obviously Colombo is the capital. I wouldn't spend too much time there. I did like Ella and Nayara, yeah, Medisa. Um, I forgot. Like I have some places here. Candy, of course, candy. I did like candy too. Um, yeah, I mean Sri Lanka. eh, You still see a lot of tourists there, but it's not. It's a sort of different sort of tourists. You see a lot of Asian tourists, like Chinese and Japanese, a lot, in Korean. It's funny, yeah. In India, you see a bit of everything. I would say. Um, about the weather, so it's hot, pretty much everywhere. Both countries are extremely hot. Um, I think pretty much all seasons are hot, and yeah, some parts of the country could have some the rainy season could be a little bit strong, and you could have some rain. I was lucky to not get any of that. Um, Costs. So I would say the costs are very inexpensive. Both countries are very inexpensive. I mean, Sri Lanka was extremely cheap when it comes, for example, to transportation. I mean, I remember taking like a 2 hour train, very old school train, but still, it cost me like 8 cents or less than 10 cents. So it's very, very cheap. When it comes to accommodation, though, I think it's not as cheap I would expect um, in Sri Lanka. Uh, in terms of quality, relation quality price. I mean, I remember I would be paying roughly like $20 per night, $25 to stay in very basic places. So, yeah, accommodation was a bit disappointed in Sri Lanka. As in India, it's cheaper. I found India cheaper, but maybe because there's more options as well. Um, in terms of prices, yes, it's extremely inexpensive country. Can it's cheap. Let's put it that way. In terms of transportation, I mostly move around. Well, depends. I mean, I move around any single way. I mean, tuk-tuks. It's like would be the daily transportation. But like for long journey, I would mostly take train, both in India and Sri Lanka. The trains are very, very, very old school. I think they're still the trains that were used by the British. They're very old school, but they're a very interesting experience. And I think if you go to one of those countries, you should definitely, um, yeah, use the train as a transportation. But yeah, I mean, you can get bus, you can get private transport. In India, obviously, I did fly from one place to another sometimes as well. Um, but yeah, so accommodation, like I said, um, it's okay. I wouldn't say it's extremely cheap for the quality you get, but it's okay. Um, as for food, famous Delhi Belly. You should be very careful, because in terms of it's not very they are not very clean countries. Okay, so you have to be very careful with the water that you drink. I wouldn't drink like don't drink tap water. No, do not drink tap water. Um, but in terms of the food, yeah, you would be very careful too. Luckily, I didn't get sick for food. I did get sick another way. Long story. Moving on. I should tell maybe. Actually, I should tell. But yeah, I mean, being vegetarian was very easy in both countries, especially in India. Like most places, it would be very, very, very vegetarian friendly. Like actually, will be actually for a change, will be difficult to find meat for some people. It was difficult to find meat. I know, because some cities are completely vegetarian. Like there's not even allowed to eat meat. But once again, be careful. Be careful with what you eat. Make sure yeah, it's funnily enough, and I need to drop this one here. I have a friend that spent some, I think it was 4 months or 5 months traveling India. This is not my story; it's my friend's story, and he was eating like proper street food all the time. Okay, never got sick. Street food, like dirty, cheap, food. On the last day, it was at the airport, and he had some money left, It's like, I'm gonna, I'm gonna send my rupees, and I'm gonna, I'm just gonna, treat myself to a proper nice meal at the airport. This is just before he left. He got extremely sick. So you never know. You never know. But, just try to be careful with the places that you go, and maybe try to go to places that have some recommendation on TripAdvisor or something. Um, as for special special factors, special places to go, yes, I mean, I would say for me, my highlight in Sri Lanka was perhaps no, it was being at this beautiful place called Pinawala, where they have an elephant orphanage, and it was so nice to see all these elephants, and there were like hundreds of elephants going, like that were rescued, and that was probably my favorite part. My favorite thing in Sri Lanka. It was really special, and I strongly advise, if you ever go to Sri Lanka, try to visit the elephant orphanage. As for India, I mean, India is so diverse, it's so different. I mean, I have to say that Varanasi was probably the place that shocked me the most in many ways. That will need like a whole blog just for that. But I have to say that even though it's so cliche, I have to say that if you go to India, you gotta go to Taj Mahal. So it's a beautiful. So yes, it is cliche, but it's the Taj. So yeah, so this is basically my big perception of both India and Sri Lanka. The beautiful countries. I wouldn't say I'll be going back, at least not anytime soon, because it's a bit of like been there, done that. I did explore most of the things I wanted to explore there. Um, but I strongly recommend. I strongly recommend both of them. They're very vibrant. They're very loud, beautiful countries. They're very poor, so it might be a bit difficult for some people. Um, Animals run free everywhere. It has some smell. I mean, as you know, cows are sacred in India, so yeah, you gotta check what you step on, because you can step on a lot of unpleasant things. But the people are beautiful. The people are nice, very kind. Maybe not men in India, but as a general, they're beautiful countries. They will You'll find a lot of good things and a lot of sad things as well. But definitely, add them on your list if you haven't yet. Okay? Hope this helps. If there's anything else you'd like to know, please drop me a line, drop a comment on here on the blog or on the Facebook page, and I'll be happy to help you. Okay? Bye.